Allah, and here he is, our brother. Praise it be to Allah. Praise it be. Takbir. 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 Thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for blessing us with a beautiful man. Assalamu alaikum.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is but one God, the creator of all things, the revealer of all truths, the sender of all prophets, messengers, and warners. We thank Allah for Moses. We thank him for Jesus. We thank him for Prophet Muhammad and the Holy Quran. Peace be upon these worthies of God. But if I live to be 1,000, I can never thank Allah enough for his intervention in our affairs, in the person of Master Fraud Muhammad, and for him raising up a Georgia-born black man in the black bottoms of Detroit, and for teaching him and pouring himself in him and leaving him among us. And we thank the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, for giving us Malcolm X, for giving us Muhammad Ali, and for giving us our brother, our servant, and our friend who is with us today, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And in their names, I greet you in the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, it is so good to see you here today. Everyone here, guests and visitors, I imagine, and I see all the believers out. Thank you for coming out. Thank you so much. I don't have much or anything to say. I just want to thank you for the support that you've given to Mosque 45 and the Nation of Islam over these 19 years that I've served on this post. I want to thank you all from the depths of my heart, because Muhammad Mosque number 45 is not just this building. It is an extended family. And oh, okay. Let me do this. Let me pay deference to our representative, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. Is she here? Where is she? Will you bring her forward? Come on up. Come on up, Congresswoman.
Assalamu alaikum. I am honored to be here, and I look rushed because I know that no one speaks before the minister, and I want to thank Minister Muhammad for indulging me for this very, very brief courtesy. I've come to you today because I come and pay honor to those who lead. And the Nation of Islam has always been on the forefront of leadership without embarrassment, without shyness, without apologies. You have always been there when we have had the call. Sister Helen, I thank you for adding to this wonderful invitation. It is wonderful to see my beloved sister, who is the Director of Public Communications for the nation. Sister Claudette, thank you so very much for your vision, for your spirit. Would you convey to the Farrakhan family, who is not here, all of the women of the family, would you please convey to them my greatest appreciation, honor, and respect. Let me thank Minister Muhammad for being steadfast on the battlefield in this community, and I don't know how choices are made, but I would beg of you, please keep him here, for he is a light unto this city and unto this state, and certainly he adds to the generosity and the leadership of the Nation of Islam. My very brief words are these. As I came in, as I was traveling from the Essence scene, if you will, because I'm holding their hands because you have been so generous as Houstonians, and they are here obviously because the enormous and catastrophic failure of the federal government, the United States of America. And so we thank them for being here, but each time we're reminded of that catastrophe, and we are saying we will never forget. So I said to Gerald Womack, who is here who came to the festival and has come here to be with you all today. I thought some time ago in this movement, Councilmember Johnson, that I would be able to lay our burdens down. I thought, Minister Muhammad, very briefly and very quickly, I see Brother Cornell, I see all of you here, that we would be able to say that all of the studies and all of the agitation and the covenant and the NAACP, the Urban League, we thought that we would be able to say that we are free someday. We've made it. We've gone to the mountaintop. I didn't think we needed to write any more plans and have any more meetings. But when I come to you and tell you that we in the United States Congress did all that we could do, Minister Muhammad, we did the regular order on the Voter Rights Act. We had hearings for 3 years. I remember you all sending an email, are we going to lose the Voter Rights Act? And some people tried to calm you down. I didn't want to calm you down, but they said, well, don't get them riled up now. We're going to do everything right. We're going to get a bipartisan agreement. Republicans and Democrats were going to take this all the way to the finish line. We did everything that we were supposed to do. We met, we had hearings. I'm on the Judiciary Committee. We had you come from all over the country for hearings. We documented, we wrote the bill. We wrote the bill. Kofi, we wrote the bill, and Republicans signed on to the bill. We passed it out of the Judiciary Committee with one lone vote. We said, oh, that's okay. We'll make it. We voted it out. And then we were to take it to the floor of the House, and we were not supposed to have what we call any amendments. Then they broke their promise to us. They said, well, we'll slide these 2 amendments in. We said, all right, that's okay. We'll defeat those amendments on the floor. Now, all of a sudden, the promise has been broken to us. And there is no more deal. And the Texas Republicans and the Georgia Republicans, who don't even equate to 60 members, are now holding us hostage in the United States Congress. They're trying to tell you that you are so insignificant, that one of the most historic legislative agendas that Minister Farrakhan was on the battlefield for with Martin King is so insignificant that we don't even have to pay deference to the blood that you shed, to the boys that are on the front lines of Iraq and Afghanistan, to those that are incarcerated, and we don't have to pass the Voter Rights Act of 1965. Some of you may say, I get up every morning and I still eat. But I want you to understand that the Voter Rights Act is the core of our existence and being. It gives us the brief measure of opportunity to go in and fight the good fight. And so what I'm saying today, Minister, is that all holds, there is no more deal. There is no more courtesies. And so we want as many people as possible to come to the United States Congress and stand on the steps and demand that the Voter Rights Act be passed. We're not going to take and accept any more backseat, second step, stop talking, don't say anything, we working the deal in the back rooms. That's right. And so we are going to be tomorrow in front of the federal courthouse building at 11 a.m. calling for a national vigil on the steps. I know that you have done vigils, you have done prayer vigils. You say, how much more? I understand what you're saying. The frustration reaches high. But as the minister comes to break the bread for us and to be able to have us partake, I simply say to you, this is the place I know to be able to raise the level to the understanding of the American people that what we must have, we must obviously take charge. What we must have, we must take charge. And I thank you so very much for allowing me to be able to simply say thank you to the Nation of Islam for always being there when the nation calls you. Today we call you, and we look forward to seeing you and embracing you and linking arms, because I don't know about you, as somebody said about Medicare, over their dead body would it be passed, over my dead cold body are they not going to reauthorize the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Fannie Lou Hamer, Rosa Parks, and Coretta Scott King are saying no. Thank you all very much. May their blessings be upon you. Thank you very much.
Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, y'all could do better than that. Come on now. Give her a hand. All praise due to Allah. Brothers and sisters, we still have work to do. We're still not free. So I want to bring to you, brothers and sisters, if I have to introduce him, you just haven't been in Houston on our planet Earth in the last 50 years. I just want to present him to you in these words. Here he is, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, we thank Him and we praise Him for His coming in the person of Master Farad Muhammad and for His wise choice of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as His messenger Messiah to guide black people of America and the world back to our original place with God and our original place in the universe. We are the first who have become the last, but we will be the first again. That is our destiny. I greet all of you with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. Minister,
Yes, sir.
I'm so thankful to Allah to be here with you and to be in Houston again and to see so many of the faithful helpers and followers, your captain, your secretaries, your sisters, protocol, and all of those who work so hard to keep our people aware, because we easily fall back to sleep. We are dealing with an enemy that is very, very wise. He's so wise that the scripture says he would deceive the entire world. And the book of Revelation says that this dragon was so deceptive that he would curl his tail and take down a third part of the stars of heaven. That's heavy deceit. And many of us, in our quest for liberation and our struggles, we get a gain or two, and a pacifier is put in our mouths. And when we awaken, the gain that we thought we had, we've lost. In the meantime, the enemy keeps working to divide us from ourselves and to weaken our resolve in the struggle for liberation. Those of us who were around in the 50s and 60s struggling, many of us have gotten tired. And we let the enemy have his way. Well, I did my best, they'll say, and you all take it now. I'm just going to sit down and relax or retire.
Go ahead.
You know, I have never seen a lion retire from being a lion. There is no creature that God creates that retires from being what God created it to be. It dies on its post. The lion dies trying to be a lion. I may not bite as hard as I used to, but I can still bite. So there's no such thing as age retirement in the struggle for justice and freedom. Those who struggled in the 50s and the 60s that are still alive, you are wiser now than you were then. So the young warriors need the wisdom of those who fought so hard in the 50s, the 60s, the 40s. And you're blessed to be alive today. Blessed to be alive for what purpose? To just walk on a cane and fall out? No. You are too wise. Yes, you have a cane. I might have one soon too. But I'm going to die on my post. There's no such thing as retirement in the struggle for freedom and justice. So the song said, don't you get weary. There's no time to be weary. You heard our beloved sister lay out something for us. She's in Congress. She knows the struggle that the black and brown members of Congress have to influence that process. It's very difficult, and it will be even harder if they don't have the support of a learned constituency. Ignorance cannot support them. But if we are learned and we understand the struggle, then we can struggle better, more effectively, because we're bound to win. God has never let a slave master win over the slave when the slave is determined to be free. And God has never been on the side of an oppressor against the oppressed. So when you have God on your side, and you should never doubt that he is on your side. Don't doubt that, brother. Well, you know, we have all these setbacks. I wonder, is God really with us? Yeah, well, that's what the children of Israel thought. Mainly after Moses came. You know, a people with a slave mentality are very difficult to deal with. Because a slave mentality always ties the slave to his master. And a slave mentality always puts the master's desires ahead of his own. The master's comfort ahead of his own. The master's pleasure ahead of his own. So black people, generally speaking, always are concerned, well, how will the master see what I'm saying or what I'm doing? What will the press, the white press say? Or how? Well, if you think like that, I'm not saying that anyone in here would think like that. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead now. But just in case there's somebody that is more concerned with what white folk think about you than what God thinks about you in your cowardly, weak behavior and your self-destructive behavior while your people are crying for liberation, not only here, but all over the world. Well, we would like our former slave masters and their children to be pleased No. But when you start making real strides toward freedom, that's when the mask comes off. See? And really, the masquerade is over. It's over. See, what's wrong with black people having the protection of the right to vote? What? Something is wrong with that, though. From the slave master's perspective, something is very wrong with that. See, if these Negroes have the right to vote and they exercise it freely, unrestricted, and they form alliances with their Latino family, then white supremacy is on its deathbed. So politically speaking, it's not just the southern states, 9 or so, that they are singling out with voting. No. It's all 50 of them that we need protection in. But it's a struggle that unmasks your enemy. I mean, who would have thought that they wouldn't? The Voting Rights Act, I mean, you're not going to even discuss it? I mean, see, but that's a slap in the face to those who have hope in the slave master. No, listen to me. See, you think he's different. You think that the children of the former slave master are different than the former slave master. And that's your problem. You refuse to accept the reality that the children are the same as their fathers. Just wiser now. Look. Many of us grow up in integrated circumstances.
Right now. Come on now.
And we have little white friends. No, that's... No, I'm not being racist. I'm just making a statement of fact. We have white friends when we're growing up. If you grow up in some integrated environment, on the track team, on the basketball team, on the football team, white friends. In music school, but the young boy that was your friend in grade school and high school, the difference becomes when he grows up, power is open to him, but not to you. So now you got a degree, he got one, but you got to go downtown to where your friend that you went to school has his office, because his daddy is a big man. And he was trying to wear dreads and all that kind of stuff, smoking reefer with you, snorting a little cocaine with you. And you say, that's my man. See, but they're like snakes that haven't grown venom yet. You understand pre-adolescence? You got a sperm, but it ain't working. You got an egg, but it can't produce. But when puberty comes, hair begin to grow up under the arms and other places. Troubled times. Because now what was dormant yesterday is alive and well today. So these young white children that are your friends, and maybe you'll be friends for life, but not under the same circumstances. See, your friend will grow up to be a white senator, or a white congressperson, or a white banker, or a white real estate broker, developer. And you're going to need a favor from your friend for old time's sake. Then you got to go to power, and maybe you can't deal effectively now, but this was your friend. I looked at Star the other night on CNN. Everybody gonna learn today. Because see, the foot of the master is not only kicking the little man, the foot of the master is crushing those who have traditionally been the tools of the master. Sister Star, she was so brilliant, so sweet, so factual, so clear. You could see in Larry King's face, he was troubled by her. Because Barbara Walters is an icon. And Star never thought that Barbara would do something like that. But Barbara never thought that Star would do something like that. Can you imagine? She loses weight. So the fat, plump, beautiful woman is now thin, beautiful, intelligent. But all of a sudden, the ratings are not what they are. Star put that to rest. Very intelligently, very brilliantly. But you are hurting because you're hoping. You're hurting because you're hoping not in God, but in your former slave master and his children to open the door to freedom for you. And that is not going to happen, not in this life. Now, look, family. This is family. Look, dear family, look. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us a lesson, and in that lesson, he called the black man the cream. The original man. The Asiatic black man, the owner, the maker, the cream of the planet Earth. See, you don't ask for nothing, just a chance. Hey, you don't have to do nothing special for me. Just get out my way. And all of a sudden, cream rise to the top. See, they want homogenized black people. You shake up the bottle, it still remains the same, with white folk on top, and you always serving them. That is not what God wants. Your time to serve your slave masters and their children is up, but you don't recognize that. So he's trying to show you, I don't want you. What you desire don't mean nothing to me. If you think you're going to use the right to vote, to take power, and now our numbers are increasing, and with unity with the Latino family, your numbers are so strong that you could become the governor, the senator, you could rule the Congress eventually, and America will no longer be the bastion of white supremacy. And they say within 50 years, the color of America will be brown. Now, white people who are racist, they don't want to live in a brown society. So how can we stop this? We have to stop this. So when our Latino family decided to show a little muscle, I don't know about you, but I was so proud. I don't know about you, but I watched with joy when the family marched in Chicago, when they marched in Texas, when they marched in California, when they marched in Arizona. I said, look at the family. They're coming down the street, you know, with their little Mexican flag and the American flag, and they wave. Children coming out of school. We ain't going to school today. See, the same spirit that was in the Million Man March. No work, no school, no play. Don't spend no money with the stores of the enemy. Make them know how much you are needed. Look, these people have satellites that can look down on a lemon and tell you if it's sun-kissed or something else.
Come on now. Come on now.
But they can't find 12 million undocumented aliens. They are like ancient Rome. See, ancient Rome, the real Roman, he was getting high. He was having orgies. They were just involved in licentious feasts. But the empire had spread, and they needed soldiers to fight to uphold the empire. How do you do that? You bring the conquered people in and make them soldiers. I heard, I don't know how true this is, Congresswoman, that if you're an undocumented alien or one with a green card and you're on your way to citizenship and they put you in the armed forces and you die overseas in battle, they don't count you because you're not an American citizen. I read this somewhere, that the numbers of deaths are much greater than America wants the American public to know, because politically it's damaging to the Republicans, the neocons, and Bush for the American people to know how many American young people are dying on that foreign battlefield. Now, there are many who want to be citizens. And the pathway to citizenship, they say, look, join the armed forces. Well, we literally fought them to let us fight.
Right. That's right, brother.
And if you look at our record, according to what I read, the first person to shed blood in the American Revolution was Crispus Attucks in Boston, Massachusetts. There's a star in one of the streets of Boston that marks the place where Crispus Attucks fell. He's fighting a revolution for American independence, and he belongs to a people who can't impress upon the children of the victors that our right to vote is sacred and must be protected. Now, blacks fought in the Revolutionary War for America's freedom. We still saying, we shall overcome. We fought on both sides in the Civil War, in the War of 1812. There's not a war that America has had, even with Native Americans. The blacks were the buffalo soldiers. We have killed anybody that the former slave master said was his enemy, whether they were our enemy or not. The slave master that was sending us to fight was our real enemy. We were battling in South Carolina to get that Confederate flag removed because of what it represents. I say, yeah, well, why don't you fight to remove the American flag? No, just listen. That was the Confederacy. This is American democracy under that flag. One nation under God. Stop, please, stop. What do you mean under God? I went to a graduation of a young man about 3 weeks ago in Chicago. I sat in the graduation ceremony. Everybody was happy. The principal is black. Administrators over the district was black. And they spoke so well, you know. But God was only mentioned once when the Pledge of Allegiance was said. Now, I'm saying this, Congresswoman, if we cannot respect the real head of all houses, by whatever name you call him, if we can't offer a prayer in school to the real headmaster, to the real professor whose creation has given you something to study, that you could call yourself a professor with a master degree or a doctorate degree or a BS degree in something that you studied from an author who created the heavens and the earth and all therein, but you can't give him honor in school, yet you want education. So the schools are dying because the true headmaster can't be recognized. Politics is really gross. Not you, not the struggle, but the grossness of politics is that we open it, say a prayer, come on, Rabbi, Imam, then get the hell out. It's business as usual after prayer. See, but if God and the righteousness of God and the truth and justice does not flow from the political process in the educational process, then you're setting up anarchy and revolution. This is where I think I'm going to close my little talk. No. I don't want to spend a long time because it's not necessary anymore to say a few words. No, I know. We all need more. I do too. Wait. My brother held a march yesterday. And you all were with him, and I thank you. And the march was about the abuse of our females. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Was it successful?
Yes, sir.
May I close my talk with the abuse of females? Listen. Some of our Christian family makes a lot to do about the Quran, talking about 70 virgins. And a man, willing to die and martyr himself. Because in paradise, he's going to find 70 virgins. Well, that's something to die for. Wait, I'm going to say something. And it seems as though the way it is interpreted, that God would promise a martyr 70 virgins, so he's willing to just strap a bomb on himself. Oh boy, I'm ready to get up out of here and get my 70. So he's going to kill people for political purposes to go to heaven immediately so he can get 70 virgins. Wrong way to understand such beautiful picture of the hereafter. Look. I'm going to start with the Torah, or the Old Testament, the Bible. Because the Old Testament says, a virtuous woman is more precious than silver and gold. Stop. Just stop right there. Now, I think I got $1 in my pocket. Let me see if I can, oh yeah, here it is. Ooh, this is a 20. But this paper has us betraying each other, destroying each other, compromising the future of our people for this. See? The enemy can print this all day long and give you as much of it as would buy what he wants from you. So the new Al-Qaeda leader in Iraq, Condoleezza, just put a $5 million price tag on his head. Well, they could print that up in a matter of minutes. 5 million US dollars. Now this US dollar is going down real fast. No, it won't be long before this, that is actually backed by nothing, will be looked at as nothing. Now, I was with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad one day, and he took a gold coin out of his pocket and put it on the table. He said, one day, this will be the new medium of exchange. At that time, gold was $35 an ounce. See, when stock market fails, when the dollar falls, wise people invest in that which does not lose value. Gold. Now, God, in his wisdom, says a virtuous woman is more precious than silver and gold. And if you read the history of the Western world, the murders that went on in the Western Hemisphere in the name of Columbus and Queen Elizabeth and King Ferdinand and others for gold, but not to preserve or protect a woman of virtue. Whenever the enemy sees a woman that wishes to be virtuous, he wants to despoil that woman. So even in Iraq today, our culture in Islam, we cover our women. Why do we cover our women? Because, sisters, your body is a natural attraction to a real man. God just formed you that way. That's why human beings, rich or poor, white or black, green or blue, they procreate. Because the attraction is there, whether there's intelligence behind the effort or not. Babies keep on coming. Now, a virtuous woman, a woman that covers herself, is not trying to attract a man to her on base principles. Look, sisters, you've had enough of men being attracted to you because of the beauty of your form and the beauty of your face and the beauty of your hair, but not the intelligence of a creature of God that he created for a serious purpose. This is a very vulgar picture that I'm going to paint. Do you ever notice how flies are attracted to manure?
That's a picture there.
And the fly never stays long. It lands on the stuff. And drops something and takes something and goes to look for some more stuff to light upon. And that's the way men in this world treat women. But the worst part about that is, it is you who have been lowered to that position where you look at yourself like the manure and you allow the fly to land on you and then look for another piece to land on, and he keeps dropping something and taking something but leaving nothing of value. When the slave master destroyed us as a people, his aim was first and foremost, you must destroy the black male so that the white male would become the master of the black female and then take her all the way down. So it was all right for us to be whores. It was all right for us to be pimps. Because that means your people are constantly lowered because we have lowered our respect for our female. You can't even go in a store today and buy a pair of jeans that come up to your waist. Now I see women wearing clothes where you can see the bone, hip bone that goes into the pelvis. And the only thing that's not shown is some of the pubic hair, and sometimes they shave that. Talk back to me. Who would create a style like that for you to wear but Satan? You are beautiful. Your body is attractive. But a man, a real man, can't think sane thoughts with bootylicious on his mind. And all of you know what I'm talking about. A young girl, hear me now. I said I was going to close my talk on this. A young girl, 5 and 6, looking at TV. She sees beautiful Beyonce with her beautiful body, but her moves are so provocative. The child doesn't know sex. The child sees that we approve of that motion. So the baby is imitating Beyonce. And the silly mother, go baby, go baby, go baby, go baby, shake it baby, shake it baby. At 5 and 6 or even 4 and 3, the little girls are learning to shake. And the vulgar dances that are the style of the day are now commonplace in the home and accepted. Nobody seems to be speaking to this as the destruction of potential virtue. Now, some of these men have gotten so sick that a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, what can you do with that? But men are trying to push themselves in a sexual way into a baby, splitting them. Fathers are taking off their daughters, uncles, brothers, cousins, aunts. And now the lesbian craze is in. We are so undervalued now because of our ignorance, our lack of the potential for honor and respect. So a woman says, what the heck do I need a man for? I'll go to the toy store and to hell with him. And it's not that our women want to be lesbians. That's not their thing. But another woman understands the pain that another woman is going through, being put through in her interaction with men. So when they get tired of the game plan, then they fall on each other and find more comfort in another woman than they find in a man. And I don't care if you call yourself a lesbian. When a real man comes along. No, listen. A real man will awaken that spark in you. And you'll start doing this. because you are a real woman, a beautiful woman, but a very abused woman. Now let's get to these 70 virgins. If a virtuous woman is more precious than silver and gold, and you wake up in a place where there are 70 virtuous girls who have never been touched by a man, where did you wake up? You don't have to die to see that. But you have to die as a nigger. You have to die as the creature that the white man made. And when you wake up from that death, you will want to see virtuous women. Because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, where there are no decent women, there are no decent men, for the black woman is the mother of civilization. Now, dear sisters, listen. You are being programmed not for the kingdom of God, but you're being programmed for the kingdom of sluts. So when you go to church, I'm appealing to church leaders. We have to begin to stand up and ask our women to be better and protect them. When they desire to be better, let no man destroy that kind of virtue. Now, 70 is a number that represents infinity. So when the martyr has given his life, what he's really saying, I'm giving my life to produce a world in which women are virtuous and men are respectful. You're not going to that kind of paradise seeing 70 virgins. Well, if you saw 70 virgins and there are men there before you, then those men have not defiled those women. So don't you go up with that thought in your mind. It is one of the most beautiful pictures of paradise on earth when women are in a sanctuary, like a bird sanctuary or some place where you can walk and no man will dare to molest you. You are under protection. Because if the female is not protected, then the destruction of the nation comes through the woman, and the elevation of the nation comes through the woman. So when you march against abuse, and then I have to stand, brother. When we march against abuse of females and the violence that is taking place in homes, are you ready for this? Some of us call ourselves Muslims. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us a law that no man strikes his wife. How you going to beat the woman that produces your future? Well, yeah, but she, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? She rose up against me, man. I had to show her, you know, who. Some of these women will beat you down, though, brother. And that's a terrible thing when a man gets beat down by a sister. He takes her to court. Your Honor, I was peacefully minding my business, and this woman jumped on me, and that's the way I look like. You should be ashamed of yourself. But most of you that smack women and beat them with your fists and bruise them, but yet want sex with them, the same night you beat them, you want to sleep with them. Like she's some tree that a dog will lift his leg to, or a lamppost, that she don't have feelings. Do you think after you beat up a woman that she really wants to give herself to you? And why would you want to take pleasure from somebody to whom you have given so much pain? You know, Congresswoman, we are a sick people. And, you know, there's no way you can expect white people to show respect to you and submit to our desires when we are so fractured and broken as a people and nobody wants to address the real problem. Respect for authority. Who is the supreme authority of this creation? It is our Creator. Does the Creator have a right to expect from us respect, honor, and obedience? Come on, talk to me. How many of you drive an automobile? Would you raise your hand? Because I saw a lot of them out there. Some of them pretty modern, nice, you know, fine-tuned engines, you know. But in the glove compartment, when you bought it, there was an owner's manual. Well, I don't read owner's manuals that well. You know what I mean? I just step on the gas and drive. But, confession is good for the soul. But, if you really want to get the best out of that machine, you have to follow certain guiding principles from the maker of that you just purchased. Making sense? Now, some of you sisters and brothers, we go to the beauty supply place and we're going to buy something to tighten the wig. But on the bottle, there's some instructions. You tighten your wig this way. And sometimes you fail to pay attention and you lose your hair. It's gone. Gone. So what happened? You want to sue the manufacturer, but you didn't follow the instruction. And in life, since you are not the author of your own existence, the Creator is the author of our existence, shouldn't He have the right? And shouldn't we respect His right to guide us in how to use the life that He so beautifully and wonderfully gave to us? So this book, Bible and Quran, see, these are instructions on how to use the life that God has given. These are not romantic stories of foolishness. There are really a lot of wonderful guiding principles here. Okay, now, well, I don't want to read that. In the Holy Quran, well, we put it up on the shelf, but we don't seem to have a ladder. to get up to the shelf where we put the book so we could become knowledgeable people. So in our ignorance, we defile this. And there is a consequence for rebellion against God. All right? That's the highest line of authority. Let's come down now to kings and rulers. Bush is in authority. We may not agree. We believe he stole it, but he's there. Now, Farrakhan, for all that you may think of me, I will never disrespect the office that that man holds, or even the man that holds it. I'll speak truth to power, but I will not lose the dignity of respect for authority, but I will speak truth to power. Now, you'll never find a Muslim burning the American flag. You ain't got, that's not our way of protest. Go burn a flag. That flag is a symbol of an independent people. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, one day we hope to be an independent people, so we respect independence, and we respect a flag that represents the independence of a people. So we're not burning the flag. The flag burners are in Congress. Every time they do something unjust, come out with a policy that's not right, they're burning the American flag because they're undermining what they say the value of that flag represents. That's burning the flag. Some silly person with a match only burns the cloth. But that flag is a symbol that represents an independent government founded on certain principles. And when you violate those principles, that's worse than burning the flag. You're burning the republic for which it stands. Am I making sense? I'm going to bring it down a little lower. There's a policeman out there, bless his heart. He got a Glock 9mm on his waist, shotgun at the ready in the car, bulletproof vest. He got mace, a taser, a stick with lead in it, and he got a microphone that he can call for backup assistance. Now that's authority. This dude got authority to lay us out. So now we're tough. Yeah, what is it? What you want? What you stop me for? I know my rights. Hey, when you talk like that to a white, racist, or black, sick policeman, yeah, I stopped you. Now I'm really going to stop you. See, when you are disrespectful of authority, you give the authority the chance to use the power of that authority to inflict pain on you. Now wait, I know we're tough. I mean, we're all tough people. But we got to be tough and wise. I remember once I was in Philadelphia, and I went there in the 60s to meet with Wallace D. Muhammad, who was the minister of the mosque in Philly. And after a glorious evening we had, I'm alone, I'm in my car, I'm driving back to the mosque in Boston where I was the minister, and all of a sudden, sirens, and they stopped me. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. Did you see that light? I said, oh no, sir. I'm so sorry. I didn't see it. Get out of the car. I said, yes, sir. I got out of the car. He started searching my glove box, And in there, I had a tape recording of my latest hit, A White Man's Heaven is a Black Man's Hell. Then he goes to the back of the vehicle. I said, "Sir, would you like to search the trunk?" He said, "Get up on the sidewalk. You're too damn helpful." Now, that man wanted to kill me on that road that night. But I was so respectful of his authority that he couldn't exercise it. "I'm giving you a ticket." I said, "Well, yes, sir. If I didn't see the light and I went through it, I deserve one, sir. Yes, sir." Now, I may look like Tom to you, but I'm kicking his butt today, 35 years after the fact, because I'm alive. I outsmarted his intention by submission to his authority. He gave me a ticket. I never paid it. I said, "Thank you, sir." Took the ticket, put it in the glove compartment where a white man's heaven is a black man's hell, and drove on back to Boston. Now, brothers, you know this man sometime want to kill us. Most of the time. And late at night when you're driving and you're by yourself, this is the time the enemy wants to strike, because he can always give an excuse to the judge. That's his brother. You come to court all beat down with 10 charges against you for resisting arrest. But I ain't got a scratch. I might get one or two before the whole thing is over, because I know they're coming for me. Oh yeah, it's all right though, brother. I'm born for this. I don't fear the terror that comes by night or the arrow that flieth by day. I am shadowed under the wings of the Almighty. I'm not looking for nobody to protect my life but God. And if he wants me dead, I'm ready. You don't take my life, I'll give it. That's how sacred your freedom is to me. I didn't take an assignment like this because I'm afraid to die. And anybody that wants to lead our people, if you're not willing to give your life, you'll compromise their freedom when the going gets tough. Now, you go to jail. Man, when you in jail, and I done taught in prisons all over this country, brother, and I see us locked down, man. And the guards sometimes are so vicious. Why do you want to do something to give them the chance to destroy you? Sometimes you're going to have to fight. That's right. But don't fight because you were silly and disrespected authority. Now I'm going to bring it home. I won't get home yet. Home is the last place. School. Let's say school. You got a teacher. The teacher's in authority. You there to learn. So the teacher does something you don't like and you raise up. Well, in my day coming up, in my day, and that's back in the day, they had a little thing called a rattan.
Yes, sir.
And it's a stick. You go in the dressing room and you got to put your hand out. And they wear that hand out.
That's right.
You could hear the person, ah, woo! Come back in the room, you know. And the rest of the class got in line. And we didn't graduate dumb. We didn't say we didn't know how to read. And my mother told me, said, son, if you are disrespectful to your teacher, I'm coming up there and I'm going to pull your pants down in front of your classmates with your raw behind showing. And I'm going to wear that behind out. Do you understand me? See, and my mother was a behind wearer out.
Go ahead, President.
Do you think if they told me that I could call 911, that my finger would have ever touched the phone? Not with that mother. I don't know whether I ever told you the story about this West Indian mother that used to visit our house. Short, dark-skinned. To me, she was beautiful, but by the standards of the world, she was not. But there was such beauty in this woman. She was from Barbados in the Caribbean. And she was whipping her son one day. And he was screaming, and the neighbors called the police. And this big Irish cop came to the door. She went to the door. Yes, what can I do for you? He said, lady, the neighbors said that there was some screaming going on and they thought some violence was taking place here, so they called me. She said, come inside. Close the door. She said, mister, your mother beat you? He said, yes. He said, You see that stick upon your side and that gun in your pocket? He said, I beaten mine today, so you will never have to use them thing you got on him tomorrow. So listen, ain't finished. She said, you stand right there while I beat your ass. And she snatched that boy out from under the bed and wore his behind out, and the policeman said, thank you, and he left. Now, no child should be abused, but that's what behinds are made for. God put a lot of meat there, so you could tap it. Because children that don't get message to the mind get it through the behind. And that's why the scripture said, don't spare the rod and spoil the child. But today, I'm calling 911 on you, mama. And the police will come to your door and take your child to DCFS or some agency because you whipped your child. Now, how long should we take that? If you don't spank them, and I'm not talking about abuse them, I'm talking about spank them when they deserve it, then tomorrow, that same policeman that will come and take your child, when your child is out of control, will kill your child tomorrow. Now I think I'll come home. See, sisters, in the nature of the man, God put him in authority. He may not have the wisdom of how to exercise authority, but God put it in his nature that he's in authority. Do you remember the old marriage vows? I said the old ones. Do you take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband? And in the thing it says to obey him, to honor and obey him. Cherish him, yeah. Till death us do part. In my day, that was in the vow. She would say yes, and I would say yes. But in order to hold authority, brother, we have to have the wisdom of how to exercise that authority. See, ignorance in authority is very destructive. So a woman can't obey you just because you're a big, strong man, but not intelligent. And the way the enemy has crafted the society, she's in college. We're on the street corner. It's sick to go to college and see 70% of the students are women, 30%, 40% men. And look at her courses. She's in law, in medicine, in marine biology, in engineering. This is a woman. What are you in? Well, I'm in PE. You still in that tote that barge, lift that bale mentality. So when she and you start talking to each other, see, the conversation may start, how you doing? Yeah, I saw you at class the other day. How are things going? It's going fine, she says. How's it going with you? Well, you know what I mean. I'm making it, baby. I need a little tutoring. See, and then the horns start coming up, He's looking at her. He see how fine she is. And you so provocative. You got on this low-cut, thing. When the babies see you, they start crying. They think it's feeding time. And he's a big baby, and he start crying too. Sister, you cannot honor and respect and obey and cherish a man who does not understand what it means to be a man. So our family life is being destroyed. Our marriages are falling apart. And the only way we think we can maintain strength in the house is by physical force. And she'd get tired of that and kill us. And in prison today, yes. In prison today, most of our brothers are not in there for what you call premeditated murder. This is murder, crime, passion. I caught my wife with another man, I killed them both. She caught you with another woman and killed you or killed the other woman. Brothers, what I'm seeing is that as men, we have lost, if we ever had it, I'm speaking now in the mosque, because the mosque gives us a moral standard by which we should govern our lives. And as a man, if you govern your life by the moral standard of the teachings, then the woman has some justification to respect you and to honor you. And if you grow in the wisdom of the teaching, she has some right to obey you. But you cannot expect obedience to ignorance. That's against the law of nature and intelligence. I'm asking you to obey me simply because I'm in authority, but I ain't saying nothing. Now, brothers, look. When you have an outside interest, another female that comes into your life, but you've made a vow to her. And because there's so many women, so few men, we have playtime. So the woman here, I'm going to talk to you a second. See, you don't respect marriage. Because if you're single and he's married, and he presents the right argument, you sleep with him. Now, in our world, that's a death penalty. Do you know why God gave Moses such a law like that? That the fornicator and the adulterer should be stoned to death? You know why? Because marriage is the cornerstone of family. Family is the cornerstone of nation. And anything that will interfere, corrupt, or destroy marriage and family is ultimately the disease that will undermine the nation and sink that nation. Do you follow me? Now, watch what's happening here. I'm talking now in our homes. Okay? A strange woman, you met her somewhere. Maybe someplace where you shouldn't have been. Because you always meet a strange woman in places where you shouldn't be. You told your wife you was out selling papers. I was busy doing mosque affairs. And that may slow her down for a while. But you cannot fool a woman when another woman interferes in her house. She knows something is wrong. See, your touch don't feel the same no more. Something about you is not the same anymore. She feels it. She may not know what it is, but now her antenna is up. And her brilliance now is manifesting. She can be a hell of a policeman. You fall asleep, she in your pocket. She found a phone number. She ain't coward. Now, she dialed a number. And a woman come on the phone. Hello? Now you become a master liar and manipulator. When she confronts you with the actual facts, no, listen, no, see, baby, look. See that number there? And you go to Mutton Jeffville and sound like the Kingfish in Amos and Andy. Now you're going to get macho. Look, I told you. I know I told you what that was. But she ain't fooled by that. You put on the macho front threatening. She wise. She just stepped beside her. But she don't stop looking. I'm gonna get your phone. I'm gonna get your cell phone when you sleep and see what's in there. My mother used to say, you never see the fowls behind until the wind blows. And once the wind is blowing, your stuff is exposed. Now, either you're going to come clean or you undermine yourself by lying. And then, when she's arguing with you now, because she's hurting, she feels betrayed. She don't mind calling you out of your name. Your children are listening. When it's over, the children get with each other. Did you hear what Mama said to Daddy? See? Did you hear what Daddy called Mommy? And if he smacks her, the children, they ain't taking your side. She brought them here. They on her side. And nature tells them to be on your side. A baby will throw the bottle at you for hitting their mama. Oh, yeah. I'm almost finished. Now, brothers, listen. If you're a natural man and we're natural men, this is beautiful. You're a natural man. But brothers, restraining yourself to protect your marriage and your family in the face of the enticing beauty of women is a great test, which most of us fail. Now listen, brothers. She's pretty, she's shapely, and you think this free pleasure, maybe once, twice, maybe on the third time, when you go there for the freebie, just while the sex act is going on, she said, you know, my light bill is due, honey, and I just came up short. Sweetie, could you help me with my light bill? That sends up a flag in your mind because you ain't got that much money. And this is pleasure. But how you going to stop the pleasure now without coming up with something, see? What did you say the bill was? Damn, I mean, you burn them kind of lights? And the moment you start putting money in her hand, your wife notices money is taken away from the family. You see, brothers, there's no free woman. Every woman costs money. And it costs money to play. And if you ain't got what it takes to play, leave play alone. And even if you got money to play with your wife, your family, and the future of that family is self-destructive, almost suicidal behavior. Now watch how this works. Houston been getting a lot of storms recently. But if you study meteorology, the study of weather, you know that there are cold fronts and warm fronts. There's warm water and there's clouds that have all of these different dynamics in the cloud, and it produces clashes. Then there's thunder, then there's lightning, then there's storms. See, when you start bringing a strange woman or a strange man into your house, you are creating the dynamic of a weather change in your house. Now, usually, the meteorologist will tell you it's going to rain, so you get your umbrella, you know what I mean, you get your raincoat. But when you are creating the storm in your house, you are never prepared for the weather that you have created. You step in the door. Lord have mercy. And you meet her, and she's that beautiful, sweet face, you know what I mean? And where you been? Well, I'm working late. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But she smelled a rat on your collar. Perfume. Lord have mercy. She don't want to cook no more. Cook for you? For what? House start getting dirty. Nastiness piling up everywhere. You come home, look, I can't live in no place like this. You better clean this up. That's what you better do. No, brother. We better clean up our act. That's what we better do. See? Now look. If you really want hell in your house, just bring a strange woman into her life and you'll find out what real hell is. No wonder the Holy Quran talks about those 70 virgins, brother. And even though Muslims in the Quran, it says, you could take up to 4. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Allah is the best knower. It's in there. But I wouldn't use that verse before you use some other verses that say one is better for you if you but understood. Don't run out playing with women. When you play with a woman, you're playing with fire, brother, and it will burn you. And most of you are burned today. Now, I'm going to show you how we've been burned. Watch this. How did I get on a subject like this? Brothers, when we come in the nation, one of the things that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did for us, he gave us moral authority in our homes. And as the scriptures of the Bible teach, sisters, Christ, the head of man, man, the head of woman, woman, the head of children, but Christ, being the head, is his wisdom coming down through the man, through the woman, through the children, and you have what is called a peaceful home. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be problems, but if God is the head of your house, and you and I as men respect him and follow his guidance, then our wives have a chance to honor us, to respect us, and possibly to obey us. But right now, most of us have lost moral authority in our own house. See, when the sisters come here all dressed in white, it look good. This is what you call showtime. See, real time is when they leave here and go home. Now, do we want showtime or do we want real time? See? Then what you show in the mosque should be shown in your home and in the environment. Come on now, let's deal with some truth here. When we lose moral authority as men, how do you tell your wife, honey, just a minute, sweetheart, that skirt is a little too tight. I don't want men seeing what God gave me the privilege to see. Honey, loosen that up or lower that hem. Your legs are pretty, but don't let these men see your legs. Come on now. Well, if you got moral authority, she well, wait a minute, honey, that's not too tight. Look. And I mean, sisters, you looking at yourself. You know damn well that thing's tight. Excuse me. You know darn well. And you going to try to say, well, it don't look so tight to me. But all your curves are shown. But if he has moral authority, you go in the room and find something more pleasing to his eyes. And I'm going to tell you something, brother. To have moral authority, it doesn't mean that you just living a moral life. It means that you're working hard to bring home the money, to take care of your family. Now, this is real. This is real. So the more your wife helps you to make ends meet, that diminishes your voice. Because the Quran says men are the maintainers of women, not women the maintainers of men. Come on now. But the white man has built a world that makes it difficult for a man to be the maintainer of his family. So we say, sweetheart, you know, I know you got a degree and I got one, but baby, I'm not making enough money to give us the lifestyle that we both desire. So the wife has to work. Now there's a compromise there. Because once the wife is working, and more than likely, the woman making more money than the man. So when a woman is bringing in more money than the man, her voice gets very deep. And the less you bring in, ain't found a job, ain't had a job, your voice starts getting higher. Yes, ma'am. Did you say I should do the dishes? Go ahead. See, it's role reversal, all by the slick social engineering and manipulation of the enemy. He's creating circumstances to break up our homes, destroy our families, so we will never rise as a people. So only when we can control those kinds of circumstances can we reverse what the enemy is doing to us and causing us to do to one another. He has authority by God, but he doesn't have it by the wisdom that he has or by the actions that he does. So when you violate his authority, he don't have no recourse because he doesn't have the wisdom to control you with wisdom. So that's when the fists come in. And that's when murder can enter her heart for you. And that's now the children. When a wife tell you, you can't tell me what to do. You don't talk to me like that. I do what I darn well please. And if I want to wear it tight, so what? You got that strange woman in your life. You don't come here telling me nothing. See? And when she talk to you like that, and the little girl children see her not respecting you as the man, then she comes back with these tight jeans. You say, baby, put on a long top, and she'll find a way to put a little knot in the top so that that butt can be seen and ogled by men. Your daughters understand the power of a female when they start blossoming and they see the attention that we give to them because they're blossoming. I mean, this is serious business here, brother. And I don't care, we can have the right to vote. What the hell are you voting for if you're going to vote on top of this kind of corruption? See, and unless we as ministers and teachers say that we've got to make the change, leave the white man out. We got to make the change within ourselves. Then we can force a change in others, but the change don't start with the enemy. The change starts with us. The Quran says God will never change the condition of a people until they change within themselves. Are we willing to do that today, brothers? Go home, brothers. Leave the strange woman alone. Cut that off and go home. Go home to your wife, who is the mother of your children. And if you don't want to confess, she already knows anyway. But just tell her, I thank you for standing by me, baby, in my foolishness. But I'm going to turn over a new leaf, and I need you to help me. The Quran says corruption has appeared on the land and the sea on account of what men's hands have wrought, that He, Allah, may make them taste a part of that which they have done, so that they may return. The nation of Islam has undergone a period of corruption. Because we took the domestic life of the prophet or the messenger as a rule for our lives. But God directed what He did. Immorality and lust directed what most have done. So Allah allowed it to happen so that the nation would get caught up in the consequences of corruption. But God is not bringing the full weight of what we've done, but He'll make you taste a part of it so that we may return to a righteous path and the restrictive law of Islam. Now, I'm appealing. Have you had enough? Are you suffering? Are your family suffering? Is your marriage in trouble? Then if your marriage is failing and these divorces keep climbing, that's a social indicator of decay. We have to be examples for our sons and our daughters. These young boys would be good if they had good guidance and good instruction and a good example. And the sisters, the young girls, would be good if you, as a mother, were the right example for them. And God is going to judge us all on how we used or misused our influence. So, in conclusion, see, we need to change. We need to stop the masquerade of Islam, the showboat Islam, where we look holy but act very unholy. See, that's the masquerade. The real person is behind the mask. Let's take the mask off and look in the mirror and see ourselves for what we are, and then take steps to truly beautify ourselves again. The last part of my conclusion, I was in the Middle East about a month ago, lecturing at the Dawa University to master's and doctorate students and their professors, as well as the undergraduates. You know, in the Islamic world, there's been great upset over a Danish newspaper printing a degrading cartoon of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. There is no Muslim of the 1,600,000,000 on this planet that can tolerate somebody maligning, besmirching the image of the prophet who brought this dynamic truth, the Quran, to the world. So Muslims all over the world have been upset. So when I was in Libya, and it started with a press conference in Cuba, when they talked to me about this, what this Danish man had done, I said, we are displeased. I said, but when a disbeliever makes a caricature of our prophet, he's only manifesting his ignorance and his lack of understanding of that which he's mocking. Hear me. I said, but you know who the greatest defilers of the prophet are? It is those who claim him as their prophet. The Muslim world is a caricature of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Listen to me. Now I'm in the Muslim world telling them. Scholars. What is a caricature? It is the gross enlargement of characteristics for the purpose of mockery or fun. Do you think the prophet would be happy to see Shia and Sunni slaughtering themselves in Iraq? Come on. That's a caricature. See? You see the stuff that the prophet taught us against? Kings and rulers bringing women in from Europe, liquor in from Europe, getting drunk in their palaces, coming to America, spending millions of dollars in gambling places and on prostitutes, That's a caricature of the prophet. See, this book, Quran, in Guantanamo Bay, they said they flushed our holy book in the toilet. We must rise up. Rise up and do what? Punish Western interests and influence in our lands. During the time of the prophet, he was with some of the companions, and someone came and told him that one of the Sahaba had come off of the desert and urinated in the mosque. And some of the disciples, they got so angry they were going to beat him. And the prophet said, take some water and wash it down and go and teach the brother, and he'll do better. When a man manifests ignorance, then who is his teacher? Who's going to teach him? Do you think that burning him, blowing him up is teaching him? It's teaching the world how weak you are. If somebody urinated on the Quran, do they take away the power of this book to transform human life by urinating on the book? They manifest their hatred for a book that God sent down to save the entire planet. That is ignorance. We have to come back in our own house and end our caricature of Islam. And I say this, sisters and brothers, you know, you look so beautiful in your uniforms and resplendent in your regalia. We're coming to the mosque, Brother Farrakhan is coming. Well, I appreciate it. I'm really happy to be here and happy to see you. I love you. But, I'm ever conscious of a reality. As the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was when he was leaving us. And our Muslim brothers were sitting on the rostrum. And he said, they are not here to see that you're clothed in a long white dress or a long black dress. They're here to see if you're clothed in the principles of your religion. See? So we've fallen a long way. And I think it's time to recognize that. The outside world already recognizes it. They already know. They're waiting for us to catch up to what we've shown them on the outside. There was a time when you couldn't go in any ward where black people were and you wouldn't find a Muslim there with the Muhammad Speaks. There was a time when black women, even though they never came to a mosque, felt safe when they saw a Muslim because they knew we would protect them. There was a time when gang violence would never rear its ugly head because the FOI was strong. But today, when the light goes out in the house, there's nothing for the people to hold on to. So should the show go on? No, sir. Should the masquerade ball continue? No, sir. Or shouldn't we say that the masquerade is over and let's go home and recommit our lives to Allah? Recommit our lives to the righteous principles that we know we've been taught. Recommit our lives to our wives and our children And sisters, recommit your lives to your husband, the father of your children. And if you would come together as a family, husband and wife, you'll start pulling the children back. And then wholeness will replace the broken spirit from broken marriages and broken homes. Sisters, you are not eating properly. So you're beginning to weigh other than yourself. And you're experiencing headaches and high blood pressure and pain in all your joints. Your pulse rate is abnormal and you find it difficult to walk up to the house of wisdom. So the wife of the uncle of Mr. W.D. Farad lives in the wilderness, but she weighs other than herself. She not only weighs other than herself in the physical weight, but she weighs other than herself in the weight that's on her brain. So she's smoking again. She's drinking again. She's painting her lips and her face again. She's wearing the styles of the world, mingling it with the styles of Islam, but I'll wear a long dress, but it'll be so tight that if the brother comes in the mosque and joins, he gonna look for something, I got something to show him too. Sisters, I know it's difficult, because sometimes these brothers, they don't want a righteous woman. They out in clubs looking for a woman that they can bring to the mosque. Brother, it's all right to go out and invite a sister to the mosque. That's good. But you would be a fool to think that she's a fool. I ain't never met a dumb woman. I'm going to say it again. I have never met a dumb woman. And the dumbest woman you can find can put one over on you. Especially if you're addicted to sex. I lost my point, maybe. You bring her into the temple or the mosque, hoping that she will accept Islam, so you can justify marrying her over a sister that's been here, trying her best to be what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad asked her to be, and what the Quran guides her to be, but you don't want that. I know women that will engage you in conversation about the Bible and don't think too much of the Bible. But if that's what you like, see, if Jesus saw you, sister, he would put Peter aside. Because you're a greater fisher of men than Peter was. That woman know what to put on the hook. See, she's the hook. But she puts on the hook what you like. That's how you catch fish. So if Islam is what you like, I'll entertain you till I get you. Oh, yes, there's no God, but Allah, I know that. You a nationalist, you throw the black power sign on your back. Black power! But she used that power and get you, brother. Then after she gets you, she don't want to attend the meetings. After she come to the mosque, you marry her, she don't come to the MGT class. And then you tell her, well, baby, what's up with you? She said, well, what's up with you? You know what I was when you found me. I ain't changed and you ain't gonna change me. So sisters, I don't care how he looked when he come in, just remember, this boy just come out to sea. He still got all them scales on him. You better let this fella get cleaned up and then check him out. Don't you be so hard up for a man that you just run. And the same with you. You say, well, in Islam, there's courtship. Well, what is that? Somebody asked me, how long should we court? I said, what the hell? I don't want a long trial. Trial gonna be for 6 months and a year. That's very expensive. You think courtship means trying out sexually. Well, you know, baby, you understand what I'm saying? See, this is madness. Courtship is bringing evidence to the table to prove whether or not I can make a firm decision to get engaged to be married. But if you're going to jump into bed with the man you courting or with the woman you trying to court is over. Sexual pleasure has blinded you to raise any question about when we're going to meet again. That's the only question you got at your house or mine. That ain't courtship. That's, you know what that is. Courtship has no sex involved. You ain't kissing her. I got to sample your lips. For what? I want to see your hips. For what? You petting and squeezing and trying to look for some place to get off. That ain't courtship. Courtship is serious because marriage with God is a serious thing. And you got to know that you're making the right decision. You are the right decision with her and she a right decision with you. How you going to make a right decision? You don't ask the right questions. Yes, I'm interested in talking with you to see whether you are the person that I would like to be engaged to. When have you had a blood test to determine whether you have AIDS or any sexually transmitted disease? Well, what business is that of yours? It is my business. You got to ask the right question. Tell me something about your life. But if you're going to get all emotionally, all uptight, don't want to ask the right question, don't want to probe because, he might get off the hook. And sister down the street ain't going to ask these questions. You don't deserve a good man if you are not courageous enough to ask the right questions. And you don't deserve a good woman if you're not courageous enough to ask the question. How many boyfriends have you had? Now, wait a minute. We in Islam now. So why should my boyfriends of yesterday count? Well, why should my AIDS of yesterday count? Because your AIDS of yesterday, you carried it into today. And your boyfriends of yesterday, you carried them in your brain today. I'm in bed with you and you thinking about that man that you slept with that was so much better than me? Damn, that's a problem. That's why a virtuous woman that don't have all that experience that she can say, oh man, I married this dude, he ain't nothing. And she called up her friend, child, I think I made a mistake. He ain't got nothing going on, honey. He's terrible. No wonder you divorced him. I'm out of here. Assalamu alaikum.
Brothers and sisters, Houston, Texas, let's hear it for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Come on, Houston, Texas. Let them hear it, Houston, Texas. Give it up for your brother and your friend. The timely message from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Let them hear it, dear family. Give him a tremendous round of applause.